The easy structure. Black pushes the e-pawn. This is part 2 of this series with the masterclass with the e-pawn versus c-pawn. And we're gonna head straight forward and talk as we go with a great game where I was on the losing side against Curt Hansen. And I played many games against Curt Hansen, who was world junior champion and European junior champion, and was one of the biggest talent ever seen in Danish chess. Unfortunately, he didn't really like to be a chess player, so he has given it up to be a teacher, I think. Yeah, well, everybody ends up teaching someday. Anyway, let's get into it. We have this structure that will arise. This is the French. Curt Hansen dabbled with the French at the time. We are in 1998. I had just gotten my Grandmaster title. So I was a little bit green behind the ears. This is the Taastrup variation with queen takes d5. This is nowadays also considered to be good opening. By the way, understanding this structure, you can actually build a chess career around understanding this structure. So it is in my opinion, very much recommended to learn the structure. And that's also why we are making these videos. This is all mainline theory. Castle, and later on I played a lot of games with Queen E2. We're gonna see some later in this series. I have a lot of games against Akopyan and Glick and Sergei Ivanov and so on. Castle and developing, and of course, as we have seen earlier, Black is in general behind in development when setting up this structure. Now we have the structure. We have these 4 pawns here versus 3 pawns here, and we have the yellows, 3 pawns here versus 2 pawns here. The question is, as I said, white is often the one with the 2 open files here are often better developed and more mobilized in the beginning of the game, and can sometimes land an early blow against Black's position. But it's not. If Black managed to set his position up, then I tend to think, unless White can be sort of establish some grip or dominance, that Black will be better. I know Keith Arkel, who's playing the Caro-Kann, and this, by the way, can arise from the Caro-Kann, the French, the Sicilian, especially the C3 variation, the Maron, and so on. It's a lot of different openings. This is one of the most important structures, and it's not very well covered in theory. By the way, this series will be a long series, so I hope you're along for the ride, and I think you will learn to play with both colors. I think it's very difficult to avoid either color at some point in your chess career, unless you, like I said earlier, play only weird systems. Anyway, Rook E1 is, I was not very well versed in theory at the time. I'm not sure Rook E1 is the best move anymore. Anyway, it does create some ideas with Knight F5 and so on in some lines. Queen C7. Black's idea is basically in this variation is to play as actively as possible, putting hopefully the bishop on this square or this square, and not this square, because that's passive. And if he puts it on this square, then White will keep his dominance. White's position may still be good. Black's position may still be good, but his main idea is to post his bishops actively. And if it goes very well, he will have bishops on these 2 diagonals, putting a lot of pressure on the king side and actually reversing the table on who's attacking. Bishop b3, the bishop was attacked here, and it's keeping eye on this one. I think if he goes here, then this is probably good. Just giving up the pawn here. Bishop d7 is also mainline theory. Black is ready to maybe castle queenside. So this is definitely not an impossible idea. Then he will follow up with something like this, and the bishop, and he will get some attacking chances. So this is of course interesting. At the moment, he's a little bit unnerved by this rook. Queen e2, bishop d6, attacking the pawn here. Ace3, and here he could castle queenside. That would be cool move. He did not castle queenside. He decided to castle on this side. Here, I think white will probably have to play this move. The question is this move good or bad? That's the big question. Well, black could even consider playing king h8 here. So, but I think white has to play this move. Bishop g5 is the right move, and hoping that it's one of the cases where actually taking this one is good. This is very interesting, fascinating positions. Black will get the bishop pair. He will have a slightly damaged structure, but if he managed to get his rook to the, for instance, g6 after take here, something like let's say something like this, and if nothing bad happens and black gets to play something like this, he will rule the day for sure. These bishops are monsters, and this is out of the game. So the only question is if white can land some sort of a blow against here. Anyway, I played c3. Sort of not really focusing on anything, just playing a move. But it's not the best move, to be honest. It's the timing is bad for white here. If the bishop was on d3, it would be okay, because then I would have knight f5 on his next move, which was very surprisingly e5. So this is also about a general discussion. Is e5 a good move? And there are some, we have to think about some rules of thumbs here. In general, if white is not able to exploit it very fast and sit on some white squares, then e5 is good, because you're just putting up, like in the elephant gambit, you're getting your pieces to very, very active squares, and opening for an attack, and so on, and pushing white back. And this is part of the structure that most people don't understand, is that black actually have a potential space advantage due to the majority on the king side and in the center. So e5, if it's good, it's very good. If it's bad, it's very bad. This is that was not much of a rule anyway. Problem here is you have to sort of go back, and this was not definitely not the idea, and forward. And I think Sokolov has something about that. This is always something you have to be very careful about playing this move, because it gives this square to the knight. The thing is, this is only a problem if black cannot keep. Everything goes wrong here. If black cannot keep this pawn here, then it could be a serious problem. If he can keep the pawn, then it's good. The thing is also, it gives away a lot of black squares. At the moment, white has a serious positional threat, and that's bishop g5, and threatening to undermine this pawn here, and the knight has nowhere to go. And something like h6 looks a bit comical. It looks like it's maybe not the best. So, but black found a very elegant solution: queen a5. What's the point? The point is, of course, it takes over all the squares here, but it also has a stop here, where it will threaten mate in 2 moves. Very, very unpleasant. I panicked, which you should never do in general, and I played f4, which I should probably have waited with until he played queen e5 at least. So bishop d2 would have been a better move here. But it's of course very annoying that black will not play queen e5 immediately. Maybe he'll play rook. His next move will be something like rook e8. Now I did this again. Rook e8, and so on. And we already see that we prefer, and maybe even something like this, and then this move, and then the queen back here, and then f4 is not so easy anymore. And due to this this square, and this is part of the problem for white with these pawns here, is that there is no way you can set up a position where you sort of have a complete lock on the position. It's just not possible. It will always be possible to create weaknesses or weak squares. You can, and it's a good exercise to just sit around and saying, okay, can I put these pieces in somewhere in a way that will not create any weaknesses? And it's unfortunately not possible. You need an extra pawn somewhere to do that. And okay, f4. That was a panic move, I think. And now this is definitely off the table. This bishop d5. So the bishop didn't get out. He goes back and put up a double threat on this pawn. Rook here, rook here. By the way, Curt Hansen is maybe not so well known because he doesn't play so much and was not active for a long time. But he was a very, very strong player with a very nice, distinct style. And I did win a lot of games against him, but I also lost way more. And I had big troubles playing him because he's a little bit like Fischer. Everything is sort of crystal clear, and he calculates very well, and it's sort of very logical style. It's unpleasant when you're. I'm more of an intuitive guy, and it's tough when you play these guys who just play razor sharp pointed moves every turn. Bishop e3 makes sense, covering the pawn, and in general, white's position looks kind of okay. But he is suffering from this one, and black starts the undermining of the position here, just saying, okay, I can't win this pawn anyway, but I'm gonna get ready to someday play this move, or someday play this move, and so on, or just move this and play this move, and it's all very unpleasant. In general, this unless white does have some attacking chances, this outpost is not that strong. It depends a lot on the role of the black squared bishop. Rook e1 makes sense. Rook e8, and it's clear that black is better here. How much? Well, it turns out quite a lot. And here comes a very unpleasant strong move. Bishop b5. Oosh. Turns out that all these things are rather fragile for white, and I was hoping this this could keep the day, but it's unfortunately not possible. This is very, very unpleasant. He will simply pile on the pressure on this one and play around this guy, and I don't think it's the main threat is this, and oops, like this. I'll just move this one, and this is a serious problem. So I had to play this move, which highlights that this is not lucky, and it's a little bit like pissing your pants to keep warm. It's not very funny to play a move like that, and he just goes back, and now this will have problems. Knight here. There's also a new target. Bishop e6. There is a target on this square. And I'm trying desperately not to lose a pawn here. It's not so easy. And he takes. And notice that this structure is really not fun to have in this kind of situation. Also because sometimes you even have... So I try to get some squares, but it's just leaving holes. It's not really doing anything. And I had to do something about the pin, so I got rid of it. But Was not really nice. Notice that black got this square for his rook. Here comes another great move by Curt Hansen. This might be weak, this might be weak, and it feels right to be behind the pawn here, and it's not a very enjoyable situation for black. And by the way, this is a model game by for white. I mean, this is a model game by white, by black. I was very impressed. I didn't know really what went wrong. It just went very wrong. And here, h5, strong move. Very typical. Curt is playing like this. And I'm almost out of a move here. Rook here. This might come on another scale. You never know. But it's also to get the rook, the bishop out without shutting in the rook. So very, very elegant chess, and I sort of got totally panicked here. He's probably training something like this. Sometimes he will even play this maybe, and I don't know how to really. Sometimes he can even go something like this, and the rook will come. So I panicked completely. d4, hoping to get to undermine this super strong knight here, and maybe opening up for this one day. Unfortunately, it does not work. Rook here, and I realized that okay, the plan d5 is just running into. I don't remember. I think he just goes here. I'm not sure. Don't even remember. Oh no, he plays. Yeah, he plays here. Sorry. Of course he does. Yes. We'll move that anyway. And King d2, and another really nasty move by black. Maybe you can spot it. It's just think positionally. What would you like to play here to keep your advantage? g5. Oosh. And now it's even threatening something like this move. And I do have a check, but it's not worth much. Queen h4. Still hoping to drum up some sort of an attack somehow. He's stepping out of the pin, covering the knight in advance. And here, I'm still sort of hopeful, and then it's total panic. Rook, oops. And it's all over. Queen is coming in. Check. And here it's actually made in 3 moves, I think. So I resigned. This one, I think this was what I overlooked. But even here, something like this is just made in next move, I believe. It's either made here or made here. So this was a model game by black, showing when and how to push e5. And this is not something you in general want to push, but sometimes it's very good. This was a very good example of when it is very good. This series will continue with more model games, and we will hopefully develop our understanding of this important structure. Thank you for watching. This was GM Talks.